Hallelujah. Okay, here we are. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Self-Love Talks with me, Tara Love Perry. And it is Valentine's Day today, so happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And for me now, for Valentine's Day has been really all about how much love can you, in fact, give to yourself. Because when we're actually wanting love from somebody else, from somewhere else, to fill that hole inside of ourselves, really, if we're completely real and honest, we are the only ones that can ever fill that hole. So I hope you've had a really self-loving, beautiful day. And of course, love with other people is wonderful too, but it really starts with you. So tonight's show is all about the love mission. I feel like I've got so much energy moving through me right now. I've had such an incredible day doing readings with people. I'm so kind of on fire and just full of like passion and this mission. So I want to talk about the love mission with you. And before I do that, I just want to take a moment and I invite you to do the same thing right now. Just stop what you're doing. Take a deep breath. And this kind of deep breath, not right? A softening, relaxing, connecting back to you kind of deep breath. Just take a moment. Receive for just a moment the fact that you exist right here, right now. You're in your body. You are blessed. You are alive. You're beautiful. You're here for a divine reason. There's something very holy, sacred, divine, incredible about you. You are here for a reason. And so be here. Be with you where the action is happening, right here. And connect in, use your hands, connect to you. Bring your awareness, plug it inside, and just give yourself a moment of appreciation, of acknowledgement, of well done. You made it this far and you're still making it. And not all by yourself either. You are getting extreme amounts of help and support to be here. You're not doing it all by yourself. You are not creating your own existence. You are not here doing your breathing, doing your embodiment, like holding your body particles together so that you have a body, so that you exist. You're not having to do any of that. You've been blessed with this incredible gift, this incredible you. And it really is time to get in touch with the real mission that is happening inside of you. Because if, like me, and I suspect this is you, I'm pretty sure it is, that you know you are here for a divine mission. You have a purpose, you have a reason. And you want to activate that, you want to get on track with that, you want to align with that, you want to get all the blocks out of your way. You're here for love, you're here for unity, you're here for connection, you're here for brilliance, you're here for creativity, you're here for whatever it is that you're here for, abundance, blessings, knowledge, then you are welcome in this space. You're in the right place, because that's what we're going to unlock and look at unlocking this evening. Okay, so thank you so much for being here in this life, on this earth, with me, with each other. And thank you for being here with you. And also thank you for being here with me on YouTube or whichever channel you're listening to me right now. And thank you for being part of my community. I really, really appreciate it. And I want to talk more about that community and that sharing and that spreading and that unity. But first of all, in order for that to happen and in order for you to really activate your divine mission, there's some very, very key things that need to happen first. And I know in this world, more than ever, there are so many options. There is so many things out there in the marketplace trying to grab your attention, saying, you just need to do this and you just need to do that and do this and do that. And also so many, and I don't want to have to say this, but I'm going to say it. There is so much nonsense. There is so many things being touted out there and promoted out there and repeated and repeated that aren't actually true. or don't actually do what you want them to do. They don't actually work. Or they work like this much when you've got this much that needs taken care of. Like they cover like a first few millimeters of the trench that you need fulfilling. There is so much nonsense, and it's so confusing and it's so baffling, and it can really tangle people up. And I really see this a lot. It's like pulled this way and that and loaded with information that's just become a burden rather than the help that you need. So not wanting to add and contribute to that. However, I'm also going to tell you, I know it seems ironic, there are some key things that absolutely, actually must be done. So if you're willing to hear that and you just want to create a space for a moment, an open space, a clear space, and see if this resonates with you, see how this feels. Because trust me, I'm not trying to take anything from you or get anything from you. I'm here to invite you into a level of connection with yourself, into a relationship with yourself, into a discovery and unlocking of yourself that's going to give you what you want. And what do I get out of that? I get to do the thing which I'm really brilliant at, which is helping you with that, is giving you those keys and showing you how to use it and supporting you along the way. And I'm also here for exactly the same thing that all of you guys are here for, because we want a better world to live in. We want a place with more love, so that each one of us, those of us that are real, true, loving, beautiful beings, and sensitive as well to all of the mess and all of the pain and all of the trauma and all of the craziness that's going on right now, it's like we all need an environment where we can thrive. And in this environment of the world so far at the moment, the way things are going, it's pretty hard for soft, sensitive, beautiful beings like you to thrive in this, right? So we all want to make a better world. We all want a better environment. Personally, for me, I want this more for my children, my grandchildren, all the children that are going to come to this earth. And it feels like we're all here. And in previous videos and podcasts, I've talked about the gardening, the tilling of the soil, the creating a new earth, and what that means and why we're doing that. So this is more like, so in the same vein as that, this is like, okay, so what's the preparation? What do you need to do inside of you? And it's like, I can't say this enough. This message gets repeated again and again and again, because we've got a lot of blocks and a lot of layers and a lot of false information in here that's stopped us really hearing it, that's blocking us from receiving the very medicine that we need, or the very key that we need. Because it's also so humbling to come to that realization and accept and acknowledge that, hey, actually, all the things that I used to use or that I've tried to use are not really working out really well for me right now. They're not working anymore. Something new needs to happen, right? It's humbling to acknowledge that. And that is a really important part of the process. Because where we're going to go to tonight, my friends, my beloved, beautiful brothers and sisters out there, is that I was talking about this just very recently in the last hour or so with one of my clients, really amazing conversation. And it's about going to those places where we most fear. The parts of ourselves, that block, that trauma, that fear, that inner demon, that situation, thing, person, place that happened to you that caused you such a jolt out of yourself, let's say, caused you to go, okay, I need to get as far away from this as I possibly can so that I can be my better self, so that I can work on myself, so that I can ascend, so that I can transcend, so that I can be important, be powerful, shine my light. And I know that even a lot of you are going, well, I'm working on my traumas, I'm doing my work. I'm working on my fears. I'm working on my blocks. But what kind of tools are you using for that? Because if it's work and it's hard work and it's exhausting, or you've been doing it a while and you're not getting any further, then that's the kind of thing I'm encouraging you to kind of just put on the shelf right now and leave it there, because something else is needed. And this is the hardest thing for people. The hardest thing for human beings on this earth, as far as I can tell, and obviously I don't know everything, but as far as I can tell, and I see pretty far, and I do see a lot, is that the one thing that hasn't happened on this earth yet is the ability to stop going out here for love and kind of a lot of people also pretending that it's not about love, that it's about success or wealth or something, right? Instead of going out there for it, is to or using tools which we kind of know secretly makes us look like we're doing the work, but actually we're still staying in that kind of uncomfortable discomfort. We're still staying in that place where we can kind of get away with it and it looks like we're doing it to everyone else on the outside, but we're actually not. We're actually kidding ourselves. We're pretending to ourselves, because that part of you that doesn't really want to be here, or that part of you that's exhausted, or that part of you that's waiting for somebody else to do it, waiting for somebody else to rescue you, waiting for maybe God to tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, good job. Now you're already here. I'm going to do it for you. Right? We're waiting for something. And so there's a lot of slippery self-manipulation. There's a lot of avoidance that's in the psyche, that's in the subconscious, to just stop you doing what you ultimately need to do. And that's the same pattern that's been repeating here on planet Earth for such a long time, is to do everything else we can except the very one thing that needs to be done. And do you know what that very one thing that needs to be done is? I can almost hear you shouting it out. Shout it out if you know the answer. Type it in the chat box below if you know the answer. Right? It's to unconditionally love yourself. It's to put all of your focus back into you, to let go of all of this stuff outside that you're dancing around, that you're playing with, that you're doing to try and get the love or get the recognition or get the validation or get the appreciation or get the status or get the whatever it is, fill in the blank. It's like I see people literally coming to the edge of life itself, where they've pushed themselves, where they've avoided, almost to the brink of their own lives, where there's an illness in the body, there's a sickness in the mind, there's a suffering in the heart, where they're squeezed and pushed and it's just like, oh, distorted, really to the edge of their capability before they'll make that decision and say, okay, all right, I'm going to try this thing. You know, I'm going to try, I'm going to connect to myself. I'm going to go to the parts of me that need the love. I'm going to be that savior. I'm going to be that father, that mother to myself. I'm going to be that God, goddess to myself. I'm going to be the love I'm looking for myself. Self-love has not yet happened en masse on this earth. It's the last thing people want to do. But you know what? And there's some funny ideas about what self-love is too, right? Or there's different levels of what people think self-love is, because self-love isn't a thinking thing, it's a doing thing, right? You can't think love, you do love. It's a verb, right? It's something that you actually do, you connect into. And so, are you relating to this? Who's relating to what I'm saying? Who's with me here? I'm just going to come and check your comments, see what you're saying. So one of the analogies I was just sharing with this wonderful person I was just connecting with on my reading this evening. And this is stuff I usually use for like the practitioner training, the professional level trainings, but I'm going to share this with you. Do you remember the Death Star in Star Wars? Do you remember, those of you who are Star Wars fans, let me know, right? Do you remember how Luke Skywalker blew up the Death Star? Now, he's the unlikely hero. He's not the biggest or the strongest or the smartest or the oldest or the most experienced. What's he got going for him? He's using the Force, that's right. He's in touch with the Force. He's connected to the Force. And he's innocent. He's naive. He's open. He's humble. And he's humble enough. He's not the big-headed guy that's going to jump in that spaceship and rocket and go, I'm going to be the hero. I'm going to do this. I'm going to save the world. He doesn't come with that attitude, right? Those guys end up, you know, getting pinged out of the way or blown up or whatever, or they don't make it. He's the hero because he's humble. He's just following the Force. And in following the Force, he has to go down this tiny, narrow little corridor. He has to enter the Death Star. He can't just blow it up from the outside. He's not big enough, right? The Death Star is this big, enormous, powerful, scary, terrible thing that can destroy worlds. And he has to be so humble, so simple, so focused that he takes the narrow corridor, the one narrow pathway in. It's only narrow, wide enough for like one little ship. And he has to keep on course and he has to fly directly to the very core of the Death Star. The very heart of it, the very center. And that takes a lot of courage to just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into what feels like or is enemy territory. You're in the sickness, you're in the trauma, you're in the fear, you're in the entity, you're in the shame, you're in the pain. That's our enemy, that's your enemy, the thing that you've been fighting, the thing that you've been avoiding, right? And you have to take that one path and go in and keep going in and keep going in and be humble, humble, humble and stay on track and go right to the very core. And when you get right to the very core, only when you get there is when you drop the bomb. And in this case, in our case, it's the love bomb. It's just a little one. You don't need a lot. It doesn't have to be nuclear, right? It's just a little one. Drop the love bomb right in the core. And then allow that impact to take place. And in the case of Star Wars, that one little bomb that Luke drops blows up the entire Death Star, and he is the hero of the day. And it's amazing. And it takes that same kind of heroic nature, even the reluctant hero that says, okay, I'm just going to have to be humble. I'm going to have to do it because I'm the one that can. I'm the only one that can. In your case, you are the only one that can. Get to the very, very heart, the very core of what's blocking you in your life, of what's blocking you in your mission and what's blocking you in who you are and who you're designed to be and who you're yet to become, which is extraordinary, beyond what you can even imagine right now. What you are becoming, what we're all becoming, is you can't even imagine that. You can't even fathom it because we don't yet have enough conscious development, enough like our consciousness isn't yet developed enough to be able to understand what's coming for us. And even if we try to imagine it, it still doesn't fit, right? This new paradigm, this new earth, this next level, this whatever you want to call it, right? The event that's coming. We can't imagine that. And it's designed that way, right? Because you can't just imagine yourself into a new reality. despite what people say, because you're still going to be limited. You're still going to be confined by the level that your consciousness is at. So you might have a really great imagination, and that's awesome. Imagination is magic. It's wonderful. Can do a lot of things. But your consciousness of what's actually going on inside of you, of what's hindered you, of what's blocked you and stopped you and held you back for however many years in this lifetime, probably since you were a child, it usually is. It goes back and it goes back and it goes back and it goes back to your time in the womb. It goes back to the time of your conception. And even pretty much, I want to say pretty much definitely, this goes back other lifetimes. This is the journey of your soul from one experience to the next to the next. And so what's blocking you now is something that's highly likely blocked you for a really long time in your soul energy. And it will also be repeated. It will be the same pattern that you will have incarnated into, that you brought from your previous lifetimes, your previous soul experiences, and you will have reincarnated into it again in this lifetime. And that pattern will be in your parents and their parents and their parents and their parents. It will be a generational pattern that you have vibrationally matched within your soul and you were born into to experience again. You created, right? The super consciousness of you created the perfect bed for you to lie in, for you to be born into in this life, in this world, that exactly matches what you have yet to resolve, what you have yet to heal, what you have yet to become conscious of in your soul. That's why you're here. That's the vibrational match. That's the magnetism, if you like, that's brought you to where you are in your life now. And so there's this epic opportunity. There's this epic moment. We have a window of space and time now in which we have to prepare for that sewing up, for that bridging, for that mending, for that conscious weaving of your consciousness to weave these pieces together, to understand the connections inside of you, in your soul, where you were born, why you were born, your parents, all the trauma, all the stuff, what's going on earth, why you're here in the first place, like the reason for your existence, the reason for your being. Your consciousness needs to be able to get in, just like Luke Skywalker, in that very narrow band that only your consciousness can fit into. It's only made for you. And you need to be willing, because you are able, by the way, even if you don't know how yet, I can tell you how. But you have to just be willing. You have to say, okay, I don't know what that entails. I don't know what that means, but I get it. Your conscious journey, your awakening, and therefore activating, has to go to a certain place to put all these pieces together, to get that understanding. And the knowledge of that is a bit like what's at the center of the Death Star. It's like Luke blows up the generator, right? He blows up the core power generator thingy of the Death Star, the thing that powers the whole thing. So when you go in and you meet your personal Death Star, what am I talking about? For non-Star Wars fans, you're probably going, what is she talking about? Your personal Death Star will be like the biggest wound. My mum didn't love me. I was never nurtured. My father never protected me. I was unloved. I was rejected. I was abandoned. There'll be shame there. That's a really, really dense, dark, heavy energy. Shame, trauma, abuse, neglect, abandonment. Right? These heavy things that have got tucked away or buried somewhere inside of you. Okay? This could even be the same thing. You think, well, I keep dropping bombs on this, Tara. I keep going there. I'm doing my medicine, plant medicines. I'm doing my shamanic practices. I'm doing my whatever, EFT. I'm doing my whatever it is that you're doing. And it's like, great, good job, thank you. But if it's still there and you're still in pain and your life is still reflecting that, right? That you're still feeling empty, you're still kind of going, I need to get something out there and put it in here. You're still searching, you're still looking, you're still feeling blocked. You're still not feeling like you're actually completely connected to yourself and embodying your absolute self. You're not activating, or there's a part of you that just isn't quite there yet. You know, everybody has it in greater or lesser degrees. Only you know that. That's your business. It's nobody else's business. But like, that's your Death Star. That thing that you would rather avoid, that thing that you would rather bury, that thing where you go, nah, I'm going to do that tomorrow. Right? That place in you where you don't dare to venture because it's scary. It's painful. So you'd rather just kind of skirt around the edges, dropping the little bombs around the outside, when actually you need to get right into the center of it. You need to look your fear in the eye. You need to look your demon in the eye. And we all have it. Then you drop the love bomb. And that love bomb really is that. It's like, I love you, terrified me. I love you, deeply ashamed me. But there's a process to getting there. So going back to Luke, right? He doesn't just fly in at the speed of light, drop the bomb, done. There's a whole journey that he takes navigating his way in. He's going through all the emotions. He's going through all his own, you know, whatever he's going through to get there. There's a process. And so it's the same with love. To go from, not that love is a process, but to get from where love isn't to a place where love is a journey, is a process. There are steps. There are very, very key steps that must be taken. One of them is humility. Another one is being able to receive it. Because if you're not able to receive love because you've built up so much protection around it, then whatever love bombs that you might drop, they're not going to make an impact. They're not going to be received. This is like a crisis that's happening on planet Earth. I see so many people wanting the love in humanity, wanting love in their relationships, wanting love with their parents, wanting love with whatever, anybody. But we've kind of set up so many traps for ourselves that love has become such an uptight, conditional thing. Well, I've got my boundaries in place and I've got my protection mechanisms in place and I've got my checklist in place and I've got my, you know, red flags and green flags in place. And it's like, whoa. And you think love's going to navigate its way through all of that? It's like, are you really ready to receive? Are you prepared to receive the love when it's there? Really? Are you humble enough to let it in? Are you open enough? Are you primed for love? Because love, like every other energy, needs a vibrational match. So we talked about your, you know, your parenting conditions, your conception, your birth, your you know, your environment and your soul vibrational match. They have to be equal for it to come together, just like anything, right? You need those forces to bring it together. They need to match. And it's the same with love. So for you to have love in your life, because it's there all the time, by the way, you are being loved unconditionally all the time, in abundance, more than you could possibly ever receive, because it's infinite. But are you receiving it? I think of it like a little catcher butt, you know, like a garden rain catcher. Have you got your water butt out? Is it catching the raindrops? Is your goblet empty, ready to receive the wine of love? Are you prepared? Are you empty enough? Have you cleared all the junk, all the stuff, all the conditions, all the traumas, all the fears, all the shame, all the pain, all the blame, all the stuff that is not conducive to love, that actually repels it away? And this is deep in the cells, deep in the body. This is not just an ideal. This is physical embodiment. It means how cleaned out of all that gunk are your cells? How receptive is your body? How receptive is your matter? Have you primed it ready? Is it in a state of love? Is your material, manifest human body existence, third dimensional you, in a state of love, ready to receive more love? Right? Because that's how it works. It's a vibrational match. Does that make sense? Are you following me? Just feel it. Just let this land for a moment. Only you know this. If you can feel any parts of you going, I don't think I'm quite ready. I don't think I'm actually fully receptive. If you can feel a part of you that's blocking, it's like, or a little bit agitated even what I'm saying, or a bit uncomfortable and you're getting a bit fidgety, or maybe you've stopped breathing, then I would guess that this is true. This is really true. I would say this is true for everyone. I think that this is all over the world. I think there's so many people that are just not really ready to receive it. Because if you are, and when you are, it's right there. You're feeling it, you're embodying. And love is so powerful that it won't let anything get in its way. But it's you who has to choose. You still have choice, right? And your choice to be that love mission, like you are the love mission. Your mission is to love yourself. Primary mission number one on planet Earth, especially if you want to fulfill the rest of the things that you're here to fulfill, is to love yourself unconditionally, especially in the parts of you that are most repellent to love, that are most furthest away from love, the shame, the pain, the guilt, the trauma, all of that stuff. It's like, that's your Death Star. That's what you need to fly into. That's what you need a process for. You need to go through the steps that's going to get you ready so that when you meet it, when you get to the heart of that issue, when you meet your demon in the eye, you're ready to drop the love bomb. And then there's a few things that happen after that, right? There's how to wrap everything up, how to complete it, how to come home again. Because in the story, that's what Luke had to do. He not only had to drop the bomb on the Death Star, he had to also get home. Otherwise, he was a bit stranded out in space, right? He was all over the place. He was like disconnected. So there's also the getting home part and wrapping everything up and getting a sense of completion, right? Sewing all the pieces together. Your consciousness has to do that journey. Nobody can do it for you. You can't shortcut that with anything else. Okay? So that's your mission number one, is the love mission for yourself. Especially if you want there to be love on planet Earth, more love on this earth. Hands up if that's you. Say yay in the comments if that's you. If you want there to be more love, then start by you being it. Because you being it is going to have more potency, more magnetism, more power than pretty much anything else that you can do. I want to say definitely, but you know, I've got no way of proving that. It's just what I feel is true. I don't need to try and convince you either. It's like you feel this if that's true for you. You meeting yourself where you're not. You meeting yourself and being present with yourself where you're not present with yourself. You becoming conscious of the parts of you that you're not conscious of yet, that have been denied access, denied love, separated from, as you try and separate from your own body, from your own self. If you're trying to separate from pain, that's what you're doing. You're separating from yourself. And it's like your consciousness needs to weave those pieces back together. You need to come back into wholeness, into unity, into unconditional giving and receiving of love, being of love with yourself. And it's so simple. People think it's really, really hard, or really, really scary, or really, really traumatic. And I promise you it isn't. Because I've done this over and over and over again with so many things in my life. Right? And as a teacher and as a guide, as a leader of this self-love thing, you know, I've kind of had to go through so many things myself. I've been blessed to go through so many things myself, so that I've tested this over and over and over again. You know, I know about trauma. I know about abuse. I know about horrible things that can happen to you in this life. I've been there. And I know that even on the brink of absolute self-annihilation, that this, what I can share with you, this I love you me, this self-love, is the key to set you free and to bring you back to life in a way that when you're in it, you can't even imagine how you're going to get through it and how you can come back to life. But you do, and you will, and it will be better than you can even imagine right now. You become a different being, because when you add more love, when you bring more love to those places, you're never the same again. It's unlike anything else. There is nothing else more powerful. This is what you need. You need love, and you are the love that you need. And you just put those two things together, right? And it's really come to that point, my friends, where this point in history, or this point in time right now, whilst we still have time, is that window when I feel such a huge call. It's like, can you hear the trumpets? Can you hear those, like, what they called horns blowing, the calling to everybody get on board with self-love? Deep, profound, powerful, real, undeniable, unconditional self-love. The love that hits the nail on the head. Because love does not avoid, love does not abandon, love does not separate. And this call is so strong. And I can see people kind of going to the edge of it and then kind of going, okay, I get what you're saying, Tara. And I'm doing my self-love, and I'm putting up my boundaries, and I'm, giving myself more sleep, and I'm taking my vitamins. And it's like, guys, it's way more than that. Step in. There's only so much longer people are going to be able to avoid this, because whilst people are avoiding this very necessary thing that needs to happen for the human evolution, for your evolution, it's like everything's getting harder and tighter and more squeezed. There's more pressure building behind you, motivating you to say, come on, pushing you towards that, that thing where you kind of just have to give up and drop in and say, okay, show me how. But you don't need to be in a huge amount of pain before you get to that place. You can decide at any moment. Because what would love do? Would love have you hanging on by your fingernails, freaking out, fearing for your life, before it says, okay, I'm going to rescue you? Love doesn't do that. God's not doing that to you. Life isn't doing that to you. It's you doing that to you. Whatever your current ledge is that you're hanging on to, by your fingernails to, whatever that is, whatever that looks like. Life isn't doing it. You're doing it to yourself. It's waiting for you to make a decision to say, okay, I'm going to do this. It is really that non-negotiable. So it's just a matter of, would you be willing to love yourself enough and stop suffering, whatever your suffering is, and just come home to the truth that you are love and you need love. And that's what's going to make everything work for you, right? Love mission on. Ka-ching. And so, thanks to the beautiful people I was doing readings with today, like every time I do readings with people, it's such an inspiration. That's why I love doing it so much. It's like it's like seeing in a mirror. And it's like I get the feedback by touching base with you guys and being able to, so many of you that have been watching my videos for years or that have read my book or done my programs or whatever. And it's like when I do these readings, it's like that opportunity for us to meet and have a connection face to face, even though it's on Zoom. It's like, wow, we get to meet each other. I get to see you, you get to see me, and it's just amazing. And I find it so inspiring. So I'm so grateful for that because I'm like, yeah, this is what's needed. This is what you need. This is what other people need so that you can get the support, the help, the tools that you need to be able to do your own mission, to live your life the way that you were designed and born to live. And so I had some ideas today, not new ideas by any means. These are like, I'm revisiting ideas from like 6 years ago, but it popped up again today in one of my sessions with somebody. And it was like, yeah, this call for community, this call for being together in person. Because yes, I can talk to you here online. I can set up, online areas where we can all meet. And I've done it loads of times. There's a Telegram group, there's a Facebook group. I created an app, there's the YouTube, there's all different places. There's my online courses area. So there's all these different areas where people can gather. But I noticed that in those communities, it's like, it's so easy for everything to kind of fall apart because it's another online thing. And how many logins have you got for online things? How many group chats have you got on WhatsApp? How many Facebook groups are you a part of? It gets overwhelming. It gets too much. And actually what my heart really desires, what I really love, is not all the tech and being online, because it actually hurts my hands and my arms with the EMFs of the keyboard and stuff. It actually gives me pain to be too much on the computer. What I really, really love, and I think what you guys really love, and this is what I was hearing today, is that we just want to be together in person. It's so much better, right? And so how could I be all over the world and be with all of you? I can't. It's quite simple. I can't. I tried that before 2020 when everything was different. Then I was doing live events all over the world and it was exhausting and I was burnt out. So that's not what I'm talking about. And you guys, you don't all need me either, right? Because what you have inside of yourselves already. But what I'm talking about here is about having the self-love communities in your city, in your town, where you live, where people who are saying, yes, I am going to learn how to use these keys of unconditional self-love. You take the keys of I love you, me, right? The 7 steps. They're very simple. Takes great humility. And when you use these 7 steps, it's like you have a realization that I can't really put into words. I can't describe. You have self-realization. You get immediate transformation. You get liberation. You get this activation inside of you. Your knowing kicks in. Your extrasensory awareness kicks in. Your super self kicks in. You start actualizing. You start manifesting. You start just becoming the you that you were designed to be underneath all that crud, underneath all that conditioning, underneath all that suppression and wounding. It's like it just cleans it off really quickly and it just cuts through all the crap and it gets right to the core of right where you need it and it drops the love bomb and then sets you free. And then you come home. You come home to who you are. And like when you start doing this process, it's like, oh, you just want to be around other people who are doing this too, because you're not supposed to do it on your own. Even though it's called self-love, does not mean that it's just a lone trip. Even though you're the only one that can do that journey inside of yourself, it doesn't mean that you have to do it alone. In fact, I don't think we should. I think, I feel, I know that this is about unified field of love. This is about absolute unconditional love all over planet Earth. This is about not just awakening, excuse me, awakening and activating each and every single one of us as the little cells in the body, but it's about awakening and activating the entire body of humanity. And so it's better when like attracts like. So when someone like you can connect with other people just like you, you're not living the lone trip anymore. So many of you that I see are so isolated, so alone. You're looking for your tribe. So many of you out there think that you're the only one like that. You're the only one that this is happening to. And of course, you know it isn't, because there's billions of other people, but it feels like that because you don't know anybody else. There's no one else to validate you. There's no one else to share with on that deep level, someone else who gets it, someone else who's doing it, not just talking about it, but doing it. And so I was thinking, right, how do we solve this problem? It's an easy problem to solve, because all it means is those of you who feel the calling, who are like, yeah, you know, I'm in, I am a leader. I am one of those initiator beings. I am one of those people that does things first. I'm the one that does it, even though I can't see anybody else doing it around me. I'm that person that is going to take the first brave steps. I'm the one that says yes to unconditionally loving myself, even if I don't know how right now, or even if I'm scared, or even if I'm alone, because I know it's the truth. Those of you that want to do that and that are doing that and want to do it more, we can all get involved and do this together. Right? And you know, online communities are great and all. It's handy for us to communicate with each other, and that's great. But it doesn't replace us actually being together. And so what I'd like to see and what I want to start setting up, and I'm asking for your support, I'm asking for us to do this together, because there's no way on earth I can do this all by myself, right? It takes teamwork. It takes all of us, the collective. Those of us that have the same dream, the same calling for love on earth, knowing that it starts with ourselves and then everything else becomes possible, is to say, okay, I'm going to do this. And we come together, and in your own place where you live, you become the ambassador. You become the I love you, me ambassador. And I can give you the tools and I can support you, and you can become part of the community where we're all supporting each other, so that we can hold containers, so that you can have people coming to your home, or you can have meetups in your local cafe, or you can have a village hall thing, or whatever it is in your local healing center. And you can have, you know, I'll teach you how to facilitate. I'll teach you how to hold that space so that it's not exhausting, so that it's not draining for you, so that you can help other people, not so that you can do the healing for them, because that's not what this is about. This is about those of you who are leaders and way showers and, you know, the healers, the empaths, the powerful ones in this community, to be the leaders to show other people how to do it for themselves. So it's like, I give you the key, you use it, I help you use it, then you give other people the key, they use it, and then they can give other people the key, and then they use it, right? So there's keys for everybody. Because it's not your job to unlock someone else, it's their job, but you can support them. You can even facilitate them. Or you can just hold a space where people can come together as a meetup and just hang out and connect and talk and share. And you can do anything else you like with that. But it's just a place where people can come, and then you're not on your own. You can make new friends. You might find your new lover there, your new husband, your new wife. You know, it's like these places where we can come together, because when many lights come together, you know what happens. It becomes a beacon. It becomes a beacon for other people. And that beacon will get brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. And can you imagine all the little beacons around the world getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as more and more people come into this vibration of unconditional self-love embodiment? And does it, by the way, mean that you only love yourself? Of course not. Because yourself is not what you think it is either. Loving yourself actually means loving all that is. But you start locally into what you currently know as yourself, right? But by doing that, you open up the doors, the portals, the worlds. You dissolve the barriers to everything. And it is the most incredible, empowering, enlightening sense of unity that you can experience. And it takes us all to another level. So if you feel like you're a catalyst, if you know that you're here for this mission of love, and you've got your own shape, your own flavor to it, brilliant, bring it. Right? This is not like clone myself and make, stamp my method all over the place. No, not at all. It's completely the opposite. It's like, here's the key, set yourself free, do your thing, bring it. If you want to bring art and music, bring it with the self-love. Let there be a space where people can come together. So I'm going to wrap this up. Are you feeling me? If you want to be one of these people, if you want to get involved in any way, maybe you don't actually want to facilitate one of these meetings. Maybe you want to be an organizer. Maybe you just want to, I don't know, something else. Because also what I'm going to be doing in the next, I don't know how soon exactly, but what I'm creating and co-creating at the moment is a way to be able to come and do the live events again. Because back prior to 2020, I was doing live events, and the biggest one was 225 in London. And at that point, my team and I just went, oh, we're maxed out. It was growing and people were like, when's the next one? And we didn't have it in us for the next one because we'd kind of overdone it a little bit. And so my feeling is right now, I don't know, tell me if you're feeling it, where you go, there's an explosion about to happen, a need, and it is happening right now. In fact, it's like, it's happening. There's a giant, huge, gaping hole need for unconditional self-love, and for it to be done in a way that is absolutely in alignment and in sublimement. That's what I want to say. In sublime alignment, sublimement with yourself. So you're so true to yourself. It's not about being true to me or, none of that stuff. It's just about you. And all of us doing that together so that there's no more of this aloneness. It's unity, self-love in unity. And I cannot wait till we can have these events again. But I need your support. I need all of us to come together to create that. You can be the speaker, you can facilitate, you can help. This is not like the Tara show. This is the everybody. This is the love mission for all of us. And I've got a lot of things I need to share, and I want to share, and I want to teach you guys so that it can seed this new beginning, this new thing that's really rolling out in our time right now on Earth. This incredible transformation, this incredible grand awakening that's happening. It's really extraordinary. It's really wonderful. And this is the time to get prepared for that. We need to be love receivers, right? For the incoming love that is hitting and is about to hit even more, bigger and bigger. You keep feeling the bigger waves, right? It's only love that brings up everything unlike itself. So every time we experience one of these great big influxing, intense waves of like, whoa, that was a big one. It's like, what is it? It's love coming in. It's incoming, right? Spirit, incoming to shine a light, to show up everything unlike itself, to show you where you're blocking love. So let's make light work of this. Let's stop making it be painful and take ages. Let's just make light work of it. Let's clean and clear the blocks. Let's do it together. It's really fun when we do it together. It's really powerful. It's awesome. It's validating. It's like, let's just do it together. Clean up, get prepared, be receptive for the tidal waves that are coming and that are already happening, but more coming, right? Let's get ready for that together. So if you want to get involved, all you have to do is simply, like, you can leave me a comment below this video, this recording, this audio, whatever you're listening on right now. You can reach out to me. I don't have a link all prepared and ready. I was just feeling into this tonight. I'm like, what am I going to share? It's like, I'm sharing from my heart. This is what I'm sharing. You can come to my website, taraloveperry.com. And in a minute, when I hop off here, I'll join a link on here and put all the links below in the description box so that you can actually see all the links and go directly to, and you can connect with me. You can send me an email. Tell me, how do you want to be involved? What do you see yourself doing? What are you up for now? And what are you up for long term? What do you want to do? Right? Let's get involved and let's do this mission together. And I'm really excited. I'm really, really happy to share this with you. And literally just can't wait to get started. So I'll see you on the inside. Thank you so much for being here. Love you.